Kia ora. Good evening. Beautiful world. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora. Hello. Let me know if you are joining me on the live or on the replay. I'm just waiting for my computer to load so that I can share onto my personal so that I can reach anyone that I'm meant to reach today. Please do say hello and let me know how you are feeling at this moment in time. It's been quite a while since I have come live for many reasons. Many reasons. Probably the biggest one is being self-care and needing to death and birth into some different spaces in the last few weeks. I think I've been live for about 3 weeks and backed right off the biz work for the last couple of weeks to just come back into centering into my own space and clearing and sitting with everything that has needed to come up for me. And I've just noticed this week sharing with a few of my close people what's been going on for me and how I've been feeling. I've had a couple of conversations in the last week or so and realized that I actually need to be sharing this because I'm not feeling this alone, and that there is a lot of other people going through a lot of death rebirth kind of feelings at the moment, and a lot of energy that may be kind of collective or other people's energy, as well as the heavy stuff of our own as well. So wanted to share now, just posting onto the other page. So I just wanted to come on and have a little bit of a korero. If any of this is landing for you, or you have been going through some, I suppose, heavy, dark, deep, a lot intense emotions, processing situations, challenges, moods, ups and downs, and this is kind of landing for you or coming into a space where you're like, yeah, hell yeah, I've been feeling this way, please feel free to share it with me. That's why we are here. If you are new in this space, my name is Madeline Lee. I am a certified intuitive healer, mindset mentor, herpes advocate or support person, twin fitness instructor, and I also support people through expressive emotive dance as well. As I come live too to share and talk about death rebirth, I'm like, oh, did I even know what death rebirth meant before I started on my healing journey, before, you know, it's coming back to those basics and simple things of sometimes we just don't even know what death rebirth means, and it can be actually do you call it a terminology or a words or a label that we can often use, and sometimes people are like, well, what are you talking about, Maddie? You haven't died. You haven't died, you're right in front of us. And people can take it quite literal, or we can sometimes not understand it or understand it in different ways or forms, or our own perception or experiences through upbringing, through who we are, through different words and vocabulary. Something off topic to this, I've been noticing a lot that something that I want to learn to use in different ways in myself, in my own development, in my personal life, in my business life, in my healing life, and with my community and just in general, is my vocabulary. The more I use certain words and then I'm realizing afterwards that that word that I used didn't actually describe or mean what I wanted it to mean, I know internally, but getting often sometimes in the English language and just with our words, there is often not enough words or not the right words, or if we haven't learnt those words when we are younger, or certain different variety of describing words and understanding them, it can be quite challenging. Or when we use certain words, and a couple of people have brought things up to me when I've shared or described or discussed certain things, and then realized that the word I used was not actually meaning what I wanted it to mean. Anyway, so it was a bit off track, but it just wanted to come out. So I'm just going to come back to death, rebirth. If you're joining us on live or the replay and you've heard of death, rebirth before, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, and you have your own perception or definition or understanding of it, I would absolutely love for you to share in the comments what the words or the statement or the label of death, rebirth means for you, so that we can just share and learn from each other. Because I think back as I came to come live and talk about this, because I feel like I'm not the only one that I feel like I'm definitely coming up. I'm coming up into my rebirth right now, but the last 2 weeks, even possibly a month, has been really intense for me. A lot of grieving, a lot of crying, a lot of uncomfortability, a lot of erratic emotion, a lot of lostness, a lot of loneliness. And we're going on a little bit of a tangent again, but that's why I wanted to come and share and talk about it, because I don't feel like I know that I'm not going through it alone, and I definitely only know the cusp of, I suppose, astrological or planets and our moons and all those things and the energetics of our world, but there's also some really, really hard, challenging things going on around the world, as there always is. But we can, if we are empathetic and we're a real feeling person and we're really intuitive, we can often start to feel darkness or deepness, or feel a lot for other things that are going on around us, if they're close or even if they're far away, different places of the world, different people going through different things. And we can feel that, and sometimes it can come out in us depending on where we are in our spiritual and intuitive journey. And it can be really, really rough, or we can't understand. We might wake up feeling really, 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 really depressed and going, well, why? I'm really grateful. I have all of these beautiful things right in front of me. I have so much to be grateful for. I have so much to be happy about. And then we wake up in a real depressive space, or it's not even that we're not motivated. We can't get out of bed, or we don't know how to get out of bed, or we're feeling really yucky, or we're feeling really sick in our body. And I had this conversation with a beautiful close friend of mine in the last couple of days, and we were both apologizing. And I don't apologize for taking up space too much anymore, because I believe that yes, we do have to be considerate of each other's time and space and energy, but I feel like we apologize too much in our world. We're always saying, oh, sorry for doing this, sorry for being an inconvenience. We're apologizing for who we are. So me and this friend, we don't often, we tell each other not to say sorry for taking up space, and we were both kind of apologizing for not supporting each other more in the last couple of weeks, because we've both been feeling this really heavy, deep, dark, death type energy within us, within our mood and our emotions, and our mind even. 2 Saturdays ago, I didn't leave my bed. And then I also seen someone sharing today about social, about reminding us that what we share and we post and we see and expose ourselves to every day on social media and out there on our electronic devices all the time, often we get that perception or that perceiving of just like only positive things, of just people's happy lives and celebrations and good things and their good positive growths. And of course we want to celebrate those and we want to share those, but just reminding ourselves that it can cover and hide the hard things and make us look so in a perfect little box. And then we draw perceptions and stories about our own life and natural comparison of being human with other people. And it made me also want to come and share today that I've had a really, really rough 2 weeks, that I've had a really, really rough last month, like really rough, and that I'm human too, because often I've had different people and clients and just people in general just come and share with me, well, Maddie, but you're always happy and you always have a positive outlook on things. And no, I fucking don't. So I think it was important for me to come and share some today, and just share my voice and what's on top of my mind and within my heart through this last month or so. And if you have been moving through or trudging through or dragging your body behind you in these last few weeks because you've been going through things either just personally, or you have felt collectively a different energy or not felt like yourself, that you're not alone, and that even though you see certain posts and sharing and things of the happy things, like just now I've had a beautiful afternoon. I went for a run and literally you can see on my story in my fucking eyes, they like glow blue, like they're like, oh, I don't even know if they're blue today actually as I say that, but they glow, they sparkle. It's that sparkle when you see a sparkle in someone's eyes, and they seem so bright and glowing when their soul is alive and it's replenished, and it feels really, really good. And when you come through that rebirth, and when that's what I was going to explain, but I kind of went off track. So death rebirth for me is what it sounds like when we have, but we're not physically dying, but it feels like we could be physically dying. So emotionally, spiritually, even mentally in some parts. Like this last month, as I was going to step into before, 2 Saturdays ago, I didn't leave my bed. I didn't leave my bed because I was in a really, really depressive state. I was in a really, really, really messy place in my mind. I was really, 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 really negative in my mind that whole day. And I was actually, and I have been listening to this beautiful lady, this beautiful witch that I follow, her new podcast. Well, she's revamping it, and it's called something like Words Are Spells. So I'm trying to stop using the word hate so much, but I had a day of, I hate the world. I really did. I had a day of, all I could see was negative. All I could see was lying people hurting each other physically, emotionally, in snarky, hurtful ways. I could just see Mother Nature and Mother Earth and animals just being disrespected, people being disrespected. I could only see negative for that whole Saturday, and I was like, I could just see the bad in the world, and I could only see the negative. I could just see the down points, and even when the people close to me that I was talking to a little bit were like, Maddie, well, how about you just do something that makes you feel good? And I was like, nothing makes me feel good. Like I was truly in a really, and I suppose I go to say dark, but even again, these words, they don't always describe, because it was like, it's like this dark space and deep energy and a lot of purge and a lot of like stuckness. But to me, that is death, and that is purging and detoxing anything out that's not mine. And all of, like we are all, I deeply believe that we all are one and we all are connected, whether we like it or not, or whether we understand it or not. And sometimes when we're in deep and dark and purging all these things out, it's almost like when you do a physical detox. I'm just about to actually do a 3-day juice cleanse this weekend. And last time I did one, it was the first time I'd ever done one. And I had these huge lumps come up behind my ears. So 3-day just juice cleanse. And someone asked me, oh, did you feel really great after your juice cleanse? And I went, well, no, I didn't. I felt shit. No, parts of me felt good and refreshed and replenished, but it brought out these huge lumps of cyst lumps behind my ears. And a couple of people said to me, well, why would you do it then? That's not very good. And I was like, well, for how many years? I don't even know, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, however long since I've been a teenager, and I've drunk alcohol every fucking weekend, eat shit food, McDonald's, sugar, crappy fake food that is not nourishing my body. I've been pouring that in, layers of that into my body, It's going to take layers to also get that out and expel it out of your body and move it out of your body to detox you. So I feel like why I'm sharing this is, you know, we understand that from a more physical body place, you know, like, or say we've been feeding our body with not so good foods and liquids and all sorts of things, and then we start, for example, going to the gym, or we start walking every day, or running every day, or swimming every day, and drinking a couple of liters of water every day. Our body is going to take time to filter out some of the not good nourishing things for our body. And it's the same with our emotions and our spiritual and our mental. It takes time, and it's almost like when I was in that dark, deep, purge, gloggy space in this last few weeks, it's like it's needing to be felt to move out, and it is needing to have its time, its light, its time in the light, so that it can actually be seen to move through. And sometimes it can feel really scary. And I talked to this very close friend of mine in the last couple of days, and I said, oh, I was really scared in the week. And I said, oh, I just, on this Sunday, I slept till 3 p.m. by myself. I didn't do anything. I was just in my little 1-bedroom place, and I woke up and I was like, oh, why? There's no point. I'll just go back to sleep. And that is not my positive Maddie, is it? And I was like, well, there's no point. I just don't feel good. I don't want to. I just want to hide under the sheets like we do sometimes and just put it over our head. And I was like, no, there's no point. Oh, it's sunny, Maddie. You should probably get outside and go for a walk. I don't want to. And that's the mindset I was on Sunday. And it was like, I almost needed to allow that part of me to just be there and to just feel everything that had been going on. I also moved house twice, and it's remembering that every single change that we have in our life, whether it's personal, career, family, financial, business, whatever we are going through, every single time we have any sort of change in our life in any area, there is a space for grief. There is a space of uncomfortability. There is a space of processing and integration that can throw us off. Well, not even just throw us off. It can take us a long time, or a certain amount of time that has no end, but it's up to us as an individual and how we feel and what we've been through in our processes to actually process those things, to actually, for them to move, for them to shift when they're ready. And it can be scary sometimes, or it can feel scary, should I say, when we, in those moments. And that my girlfriend of mine that I was talking to, she said the same thing. She's like, Maddie, I felt really depressed too. Like I wasn't going to get out of the hole. Like I was going to go a downward spiral into this depression type mood where I just couldn't move and I couldn't go anywhere, and I felt no faith in the world, and I couldn't think of anything positive, and all I could think of was this, that, and the other, really negative thoughts. So if we come back to death rebirth stuff, so for me, it is sometimes, it feels like when we say death rebirth, I'm not physically dying, but it feels like I could be physically dying through my emotions, mind, soul, whatever's going on internally. And this one, interesting enough, some people will relate and some won't. If you have an abandonment wound, you will be able to relate to death rebirth in some way or form, because I have or had, am healing a big emotional abandonment wound that sometimes rips open again and becomes really, really raw. And you think about abandonment for me, you think about when you're a little child, or you have a child, so say you had like a 2-year-old, and then and the 2-year-old is waiting for their mum to bring their dinner or whatever, and the mum just disappears and goes and checks the little 6-month-old baby in the room, and the 2-year-old can't find the mum or something like that, and the 2-year-old freaks out that they've been left alone and they've been abandoned, and to them, like, it's the world's end, because they emotionally feel unsafe. They feel like, where's my safety net, where is it gone, and panic, or they feel really, really upset, and it's that attachment, and it is like a big death inside. Like, I just think, yes, some differences, some similarities, but straight away when I'm when I'm sharing around death rebirth, I think of the abandonment wound that hurts in me when I feel really, really alone, when I feel like no one cares, even though people do, when I feel my feeling inside my body is telling me I'm unsafe, that I feel really, really abandoned. No, I'm really unsafe. Where's someone to save me? Where's someone to be here? I'm alone. No one cares. I'm unsafe. And I'll freak out. It's a similar feeling to the death rebirth. Very different, but very similar. Something that you can interrelate if you have felt abandonment, if you have felt the emotions or have an abandonment wound of some sort from your childhood or your adulthood as well. But death rebirth can be different for everyone, but it does feel like you're emotionally, like your heart's been ripped out. Like you are dying inside, and it is intertwined with, your grief cycle and how you're feeling in each moment, and if there's hopelessness or there's those negative emotions and things. And it's really, really interesting because sometimes we have a choice to step through into our rebirth, and then other times we don't particularly have a choice. It naturally, intuitively happens when soul wants us to rebirth into that space. For example, today I kind of felt the same as I felt for the last 2 weeks, or within a range of it, the last 2 weeks to a month, where I felt kind of flat. I felt kind of off. I haven't felt in alignment. I felt really torn. I felt lost. I felt confused in myself and decisions I'm making, and wondering why am I going backwards? I've come so far. I've healed so much. I've learned so much. Why am I here? What's going on with me? It's like I'm agitated and like I'm confused. Is this mine? I don't know. And being in this space of real confusion, real kind of space. And I felt the same as this today until this afternoon, and something's just suddenly shifted in me. And I was walking home from work just being like, oh yeah, same old thing, can't really be bothered doing anything, don't really want to do anything. I went to my mainstream job, so I showed up, I turned up, I did my job, came home. And as I'm walking home over the little car park that I cut through as a shortcut, I see the bloody sun just shining in my eye, and something just shifted me. Just something all of a sudden, universe, soul, my guides, something shifted me and pulled me through the energy and was like, okay, you're ready to lift now. Well, you're ready now. You can open now. And then suddenly I was like, oh, I just want to go for a run. And I've just had a really, really deep, intense period or bleed cycle as well that's just finished yesterday, and it's just insane because I couldn't move my body before. My body didn't want me to move. It wanted me to hibernate. It wanted me to sleep. Just sleep. Most of the weekend I've just slept and then worked and then come home and slept, and that's all I've done. And I'm going, oh no, am I getting in a depressive hole because I'm just sleeping? What's going on? And then I've just literally walked in the door of my house, put some shorts on, and just went for a run. And then after this live stream, if you're watching the replay or you're watching it live, go and check out my story and check out my motherfucking eyes in my story. There is no I'm pretty sure there's no filter. I need to check, but I'm pretty sure there's no filter on the one with my eyes, and my eyes are like crystals. Like suddenly they've just come through, and I just suddenly felt so high of nature. Like so high, because I'm moving through the energy, because I've allowed this time of integration, even though it felt so uncomfortable that I was like, what am I going to get out of this? Why am I like this? This is not me. All I'm doing is complaining. All I'm doing is really negative. It's really, really hard right now. And I couldn't shift my mind space. This last couple of weeks, I have not. Funny enough, mindset coach couldn't use her own skills these last couple of weeks to shift her mindset or her mind space and my state of mind and my emotions, but it's because it was not time to. It was because what I needed, what my soul emotions, my inner child, what I have needed in these last couple of weeks is sleep and internal sitting with self, and not actually doing any of the work. What I've needed is to sit still through the death so that I could rebirth when I was ready. But that wasn't a choice today to come through that rebirth. yeah, I can still feel that there's ups and downs coming, and there's waves of it coming and still to come. Like, it's not just like, rebirth, I'm free. But, and you can see in me as a person, so if you follow and you connect with me well, or you work with me, you will see in the natural essence of me when I'm in my full alignment, or when I'm moving through loggy, different, purgy, detoxy, deep death, rebirth type of stuff. You will be able to feel it. The more intuitive you are with yourself and observing others and people in your life and listening and connecting through it, you will start to learn a relationship, build a relationship with the energy of it and with knowing your people. So whether it's you work closely with me, or whether it's your close people in your life and you witness them going up and down, or whether it's the relationship with yourself and witnessing yourself as you go through the waves of, shit, I feel like death today. I emotionally feel like I cannot actually go any further, that I cannot move out of this, that I'm not going to make it. I'm really negative today. And bringing awareness to that and going, okay, I'm observing that. And practicing, just, okay, I'm aware this is where I'm at today. Okay. So is it a moment of, okay, I need to actually use some tools to shift this? Or is it, okay, I need to sit with this emotion for a moment, to allow it to come out, to allow it to process and have some of that light, shine some of that light on that dark spot, on that shadow spot, on whatever negative emotion, positive emotion, mix of emotions to come out of the body, to be expressed, to be felt, to be integrated and processed through a death rebirth. Really, really big. Really, really big, guys, that I just want you to know that if you are going through anything, you will come through it. And I needed this reminder. And if you had have told me those words a week ago, I would have said, shove it up your because I don't believe you. I don't know how I'm going to move through it. I can't. I don't use those words anymore, but all I can think of, but I can't, but it's impossible. I can't. So the share today is to share with you that death rebirths they are a thing, and they have emotion, and your emotion and your relationship to it and who you are will be different than mine, than anyone else's. And so give yourself a gentle break to, just observe and be aware when you're going through those emotions, and those motions of life that are just moving through, that they will, and we can learn about them over and over. We can learn about them, and we can strengthen our relationship with them over time, so that we can understand. And then it's interesting today, every time I've gone to say or write or share the word understand, it's like, but you don't have to understand everything, Maddie. And you don't have to understand everything, but understanding doesn't always have to mean really, really in depth, but just understanding even with a partial part of almost like acceptance, understanding in a way of, oh, this is the way that it works for me. It doesn't have to be an understanding of like a logical understanding, but also understanding that this intuitively is the way that I'm needing to feel right now, and that I'm needing to death rebirth to move through, and what's going on for me. Okay, I feel in this gloggy, crappy place right now. I feel in this really hard place. I don't know where to go right now. I don't know how to use the skills that I teach right now. That was something I told myself last week. It's like, what's going on, Maddie? Who are you? Take your own advice. What is going on? But I wasn't meant to, because I was meant to sit and process. And it was a reminder of self-care, like we always have. So that is my share today. If you have been having death rebirth, also a reminder to share with people that you feel called to share with when you are going through hard things. I felt last week like I needed to talk to one of my best friends about how I was feeling, but I felt also like a burden, and I was like, oh no, she's not going to get it. She's too busy to listen to my stuff. Then I talked to her about it, and she's like, I was feeling exactly the same. I didn't reach out to you because it was like I could hardly talk because I was struggling so much. Why didn't we talk? So it just shows that sometimes just take the leap to trust your intuition. Take the leap to, if someone calls to you in an energetic way, say you bump into someone, you don't usually talk to them, you meet a stranger and you feel like you really trust them and they've just opened something or asked you really. I had this beautiful situation in a scenario in my life recently that I seen this young girl, and I just said, hi, how are you? And she told me the truth, and I was like, fuck yeah, who is this young girl? Because she turned around and she said, honestly, no, I'm not good. And I was like, wow, I love this. I love this bitch. And so I turned around and I said, oh, really? Like, do you want to talk about it? I don't even know what her name is. I don't even know who she is. And she turned around and shared that with me. And then we ended up having a lovely conversation, and then I've seen her another day as well. But that can be enlightening for us, and that can be supportive for someone else. So I urge you to trust your intuition when you meet a certain someone and you want to talk to them and you connect with them. And I feel like we need so much more of this. And having so many conversations about our changing world and electronics and AI and how we've really disconnected because we're always on these things that I'm on right now, but not having that true communication, that true connection, and how we're kind of losing ourselves a little bit, or almost like in a form of getting a message right now, it's almost like we're poisoning ourselves a little bit because we are detaching ourselves so much from actually having in person contact, in person connections, seeing people eye to eye, seeing their skin, giving them a cuddle in a beautiful space, just saying, having touch, spending time truly connecting with human people. We've really lost that over the last couple of years, and it's like I'm almost getting this message like, oh, of course, Mitty, this isn't anything new, everyone fucking knows this. That's what I'm getting, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, but it's coming up again because it's important. So that's why I'm sharing it today, because our world has changed, and of course it's changed because it's always changing. But it's a reminder again, if you're feeling and finding, and I was listening to a beautiful podcast the other day about how much we just, in our society now, we really find comfort in our home. And I'm laughing as I'm like sitting in my little 1-bedroom thing by myself, house, by myself, feeling super lonely. And really wanting more connection with people in person and wanting more in-person friends. And I have beautiful support people and I have beautiful friends, but I don't really have that many that are in person close to me that I can just go see or spend time with. And I'm sitting there a lot in this comfort space, and the podcast is sharing and talking about that a lot of us have just become a certain way of, oh, well, it's easier, it's comfy, and I like my place because I'm comfy. I've got my bed I like the feel of my house, I've got yummy food, I can just watch this Netflix program or watch this podcast or do the self-development, and I've got everything I need here, so I'll just stay here. As I'm listening to this by myself in my little comfort space, and then I'm going, okay, Mitty, you need to get out a little bit more. You need to reach out and meet different people and learn about different people, connect with different people, challenge yourself, and really come back to being an actual human. Really come back to grounding into actually being who I was born here to be, and actually experience the essence of life, actually go out there and get to experience it as the human experience. So big. Feels just beautiful sharing. Just beautiful. It's like it lifts a light feather, a heavy feather off my chest and turns it into a light one. What is our beautiful oracle message for the end of our beautiful Korero today? You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. Just going to read for you today. Let's see what we have. have my glasses on either. Maybe that's why I'm struggling to find it. Oh, here you go. 30. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. Do not question things so much. You are on the right track. You are facing the right way. Stop overthinking it. It's happening, and you are closer than you think. You are exactly where you need to be, and things are moving at the perfect speed. Do not rush. Do not rush it. Now is not the time to be impatient. Now is the time to walk steady. There is no rush. What you are building is being built. Excuse me. What you have planted soon will blossom. With every new day, a new brick is being laid. You have come a long way. The foundations are ready. Now all that is needed is for you to trust and keep walking forward. If a thought that things should be moving faster enters your head, that is just your ego comparing your rising to someone else. Comparison is not your friend. Stay in your lane, water your own garden, knowing that your time to bloom will come soon. You are already doing it. Keep going. Keep going, keep going.